In a quiet sunlit village, there lived a young woman named Kolima. She possessed a striking beauty that drew stares from villagers and travelers alike. Her deep amber skin glowed in the sun, and her long thick braids flowed down her back like a dark river. But Kolima was not simply beautiful. She was gentle, sincere, and hardworking, known as the finest cloth weaver in the region. Her vibrant wrappers were admired for their bright colors and intricate patterns, admired just as much as her virtuous spirit. Kolima was also known as the village pure heart, a woman who guarded herself with dignity. She believed intimacy should wait for true love and marriage. Many men sought her hand. Some brought baskets of cassava, others wore fine clothing, and a few offered goats hoping to impress her. But Kolima always declined with a kind smile. "I want to be loved for who I am, not for what I am," she would say to herself. Yet her parents grew impatient, worried about her future. "Kolima," her father urged one evening, "you are a grown woman now. You must choose a husband soon. Your mother and I want grandchildren before our bones grow too old." Kolima lowered her eyes and whispered, "I understand, Papa. I am trying." Among her suitors was Tejiri, the son of a respected chief. Tejiri was a skilled woodcarver known for crafting elegant chairs and tables for royal households. He was confident, handsome, and charismatic, and many believed he would be Kolima's match. Tejiri spoke with Kolima's parents respectfully. "Please," he said, "help me win her affection. I will care for her as my wife. I will bring honor to your family." His father even visited personally to persuade them. Out of respect for her family, Kolima agreed to give Tejiri a chance. They began spending time together, walking through the marketplace and speaking of futures. Tejiri showered her with compliments and seemed deeply affectionate. Eventually, they became officially engaged, and preparations for their wedding began. As the wedding approached, however, Tejiri's true intentions began to surface. He started becoming insistent and impatient. One afternoon, he pressed her hand firmly and said, "Why must we wait? We are practically married already." Kolima shook her head. "Not yet, Tejiri. I want our marriage to begin with honor." For a while, he pretended to understand. But one night, through trust and affection, Kolima relented and allowed closeness. Yet something strange occurred. Tejiri was unable to enter her. The attempt caused Kolima great pain. She winced and gasped, pleading, "Please, stop." They tried again the next night and the next after that. Each time, she cried in pain, and Tejiri grew frustrated. Finally, he withdrew from her angrily. "So this is the truth," he snapped. "I wanted to be the first, but what good is a wife I cannot have?" Shocked and heartbroken, Kolima tried to soothe him, saying, "We can seek help, please be patient." But Tejiri's pride burst into cruelty. The engagement ended abruptly. Tejiri then went around the village, speaking loudly of Kolima's condition. "She cannot be touched. She isn't even a real woman," he declared. News spread like wildfire. Soon, men avoided her completely, whispering, laughing, and speculating. "Does she even have a private part?" some mocked. Kolima walked through the village feeling exposed and humiliated. Her parents were devastated. Her mother wept privately, while her father clenched his fist in helpless frustration. Kolima tried to remain strong, but inside her spirit crumbled. Her parents finally called upon the village midwife, Mama Deka, to examine her. After a careful inspection, Mama Deka explained. "Her passage is too narrow. Intimacy and childbirth would be nearly impossible." Many remedies were attempted, herbal treatments, massages, whispered prayers. But nothing changed. Kolima withdrew into solitude, throwing herself fully into her weaving. The rhythmic motion of thread and loom became her refuge. Though her eyes were often swollen with tears, her hands continued producing breathtaking fabrics that customers adored. One afternoon at the busy marketplace, Kolima met Rashidi, a textile trader from a distant town. He had heard of the weaver with unmatched skill. When Rashidi saw her work, his face lit with genuine awe. "These are extraordinary," he exclaimed. Kolima smiled shyly. They began talking and soon formed a working partnership. Rashidi was warm, respectful, and engaging. Over the months, he became a regular presence in her days. Kolima found herself laughing again, something that had almost vanished from her life. One evening, after closing her shop, Rashidi spoke softly. "Kolima, I have grown to admire you deeply. Not only your talent, but your kindness and your courage." His voice trembled slightly as he asked, "Will you give me the chance to love you?" Kolima froze. Though she had grown fond of him, old wounds reopened. Her voice shook as she replied, I need time." After that night, she began avoiding him, hiding behind stalls or slipping away when he approached. Finally, Rashidi came to her weaving hut. He placed his hand gently on her shoulder. "Kolima, if I have offended you, please forgive me. I only wish to understand." Tears welled in her eyes. "I need a few days," she whispered. He nodded patiently. Later that week, Rashidi invited her to the riverside at sunset. The sky blazed with warm amber and rose colors. "Tell me what troubles your heart," he urged, his voice filled with sincerity. Kolima trembled as she revealed everything: Tajiri's betrayal, the humiliation, the cruel comments, the unbearable shame. "I fear you will leave me like the others," she whispered. Rashidi held her hands. "Kolima, your worth is not defined by this condition. I love you for your soul, your laughter, your strength. We can build a life in our own way, together." For the first time in years, Kolima felt truly seen. Slowly, she opened herself to trust again. Their love blossomed. Rashidi married Kolima, and their life was filled with joy and companionship. They traveled together to trade her fabrics, expanding her business into surrounding regions. People marveled at their bond. But Rashidi's family was not as accepting. His sisters whispered ugly accusations. His mother scoffed openly. "She hides something dark. Perhaps she is cursed." Some even claimed Kolima had killed unborn children through sorcery. Rashidi defended her fiercely. "You will not insult my wife," he declared. Yet the attacks weighed heavily on Kolima's heart. One day, Kolima sat weeping quietly in her weaving hut when an elderly woman in ragged clothing entered. Kolima jumped to wipe her tears and greeted her kindly. "Welcome, grandmother. How may I serve you?" The old woman asked for the cheapest cloth as a gift for her granddaughter's wedding. When she could not afford any, she turned to leave. Kolima stopped her. "Please, take this beautiful wrapper as a gift. Your granddaughter deserves joy on her wedding day." The old woman's eyes softened with gratitude. The old woman paused at the doorway and said quietly, "My child, I know of your suffering. I have heard the whispers. But I may know of a way to help you." Kolima leaned in. "Please, tell me." The old woman pointed toward distant hills. "In the forest of Wazamu, there stands the tree of spirit. Its sap grants one wish to a pure-hearted soul. But the path is dangerous." Hope sparked in Kolima. She hurried home to tell Rashidi. Rashidi was doubtful. "Kolima, how can we know this is real?" She placed her hand on his heart. "I don't know. But I need to try." Seeing her determination, he agreed. The next morning, they ventured into the whispering forest. The trees towered like silent guardians. The wind carried voices that felt like secrets. "Stay close to me," Rashidi whispered. Soon, they reached a clearing swarming with golden butterflies. Their voices hissed, "Turn back, you are unworthy." Kolima closed her eyes, remembering Rashidi's love. She whispered, "I am more than my condition." The butterflies drifted aside. Deeper in the forest, they met a monstrous serpent with glinting scales. It lunged at them. Rashidi fought bravely with his machete, but the serpent was swift. It struck him, sinking venomous fangs into his neck. Kolima shrieked and held him as he weakened. But Rashidi pushed himself up and drove his weapon into the serpent, killing it, before collapsing in agony. "Leave me, go," Rashidi gasped. "Find the tree," Kolima sobbed. "I will not leave you." He looked into her eyes. "You must." Driven by love, Kolima ran alone until she found a shimmering meadow. In its center stood the tree of spirit, glowing with silver bark and sparkling leaves. The ancient voice asked, "Kolima, pure heart, what do you seek?" Kolima answered, "I came here for healing, for children, but none of it matters if Rashidi dies. Please, save him." The tree paused. "This is your one wish. Are you certain?" Kolima lifted her tear-stained face. "Yes. I choose him." The tree released golden sap into her hands. She drank and whispered her wish. Suddenly the forest echoed, "So it shall be." Kolima raced back to Rashidi and found him sitting upright, strong and alive again. He stared at her in awe. "You sacrificed your healing, for me." Kolima smiled through tears. "Love is not selfish. I chose you." Rashidi embraced her and said, "Then let us return to the tree. I will make the wish for you." But when they approached, the voice boomed, "No one who has received a granted wish may make another." The couple stood in silence, the realization sinking in. Slowly, they walked out of the forest, hand in hand. Kolima's condition remained, but so did their love, transformed and strengthened. Together they had faced danger, humiliation, and sorrow. Their story became a legend of devotion over perfection.